2022, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. The Senate has passed the first major federal gun control bill in decades, breaking a longtime Republican blockade with bipartisan support. Kerry Pickett reports the bill passed 65-33, with 15 Republicans voting for the package. It would expand background checks to include juvenile records and incentivize state adoption of red flag laws to remove guns from people that are deemed dangerous by a judge. The legislation now goes to the House for a final vote, where it's expected to pass before Congress leaves for a 2-week recess. The bill's passage came as the Supreme Court struck down a New York law that required residents to show they faced a particular danger before they could obtain a permit to carry a concealed firearm. Alex Schroyer reports the 6-3 decision was the justice's first major gun ruling in years. Writing for the majority, Justice Clarence Thomas said the right to bear arms for personal protection cannot be left to vagaries of state legislatures' decision-making. That doesn't mean states can't impose training requirements or additional background checks on permit holders, but Justice Brett Kavanaugh said the criteria must be objective. The court's 3 Democratic-appointed justices dissented, saying New York was engaged in the reasonable balancing of individuals' rights versus its own interests in safety. The European Union has formally made Ukraine a candidate for membership in the 27-nation alliance. Ben Wolfgang reports EU nations voted unanimously in favor of Ukraine's candidacy during a summit in Brussels, though the approval process is likely to take at least several years. The war-scarred country would join Sweden and Finland as countries spurred into Western alliances by Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion, with those 2 set to join NATO. The West has remained mostly unified in its opposition to Russia, despite polling that suggests public opinion in some European countries now favors a ceasefire, even at the expense of some concessions by Ukraine. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. If you don't have access to the Times yet, you can visit WashingtonTimes.com/George for a special subscription offer. On the 50th anniversary of Title IX, the Biden administration proposed sweeping changes to the anti-discrimination law. Valerie Richardson reports the proposed changes unveiled by Education Secretary Miguel Cardona would add sexual orientation, gender identity, and sex characteristics to the law, which prohibits discrimination in education based on sex. It would also restore protections for students who are victims of sexual harassment, assault, and sex-based discrimination that had previously been weakened. Cardona acknowledged the debate over transgender athletes, saying that the department recognizes the standards for students participating on male and female athletic teams are evolving in real time. And finally, the Department of Health and Human Services has launched ads encouraging families to immunize infants and small children for COVID-19. Tom Howe reports the 30-second spot urges parents to protect children 4 and younger who became eligible for shots this week. Nearly 19 million children are in the newly eligible group from 6 months to 4 years, but there are signs that many families won't bother, as some parents are leery to giving shots to children that young. Less than 1/3 of children ages 5 to 11 have been vaccinated since shots became available to that age group in November. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.